when you're in a bite, sometimes they don't care, they eat everything. When you're not, and you really gotta work for your bites, you hide the hook.
Tired, Cap. Still tired. Tired.
I'm not tired. I go all day, baby. Woo!
Golden monsters are gone fish.
Back again with George P from the Wicked P. We're going to show you how we tie our fluoro leader for our chunking setup, and then we're going to put a sardine on it. And we're going to use 40-pound fluoro. We like to go kind of light. So George, take it away.
All right, I'm not a fan of the 30-pound, which a lot of guys try to use to get bites. It's just a little too soft. With a 40, you get a lot more forgiveness, as I say. It's just a lot stiffer, and it ties knots better. It's just a better one. So basically what I do is I take my fluoro and I'll pull out at least 3 arm's lengths.
So about
18 feet or so.
Yeah.
Okay, I only tie a polymer to the hook and tie a polymer to my swivel. I do a regular, what you call like a cinch knot to the mono itself. So the mono we're going to be using on the rod's going to be 80-pound line, 40-pound mono. I'm not going to worry about any knot failure with 80-pound line with the cinch knot.
What kind of hook are we using?
This is I think a owner circle, J hook with a circle on it. I definitely prefer the circles, the rings on it. They give a little bit more swing on a fish's mouth. I do use a lot of circle hooks also. This makes a big difference in how the hook actually seats in the fish's mouth a lot of times. And
you see the little ring there.
And a lot of times that could be the difference if it's in the corner of the fish's mouth or in the fish's mouth.
Yep, we'll take a look at this here and you can see it up close. Yes, as an owner, but we like to use the Fluoro circles. But this is all we have for this video.
So basically you take a loop, you stick it in the eye. Okay. Make a circle on itself. You go around the hook and you slowly pull it tight. Now make sure this little loop I got with my finger is going to come over to the right position like that. Okay,
so this is just a polymer knot.
Yep. And before you pull it tight, wet it. Pull it tight on both sides. Make sure she's good and tight.
Okay. So it's just a normal polymer. We use those mostly for like our snap swivels, hook connections. Now he's going to do a polymer on the wind-on swivel. This one there. We like to use 150. This is, I believe, a 280, but that's all we have for this demonstration.
Same thing. Put it through. You make a circle around itself. Pull it through. Now this is a little more challenging to get this tight on. I'll take another piece of line many times or a snap swivel to help me tighten this up.
Make sure you get that loop up.
Keep it wet. Again, you really got to use something to help pull tight on, or else you won't get it tight and your knot will fail.
Okay.
Okay, so pretty basic knot for the swivel itself, because it is 80-pound line. It's a lot more forgiving. Go around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 times. Put it through the middle.
Wet it.
Wet it.
And you could use whatever knot you like. I like to use uni knots. This knot works fine too, whatever you want.
Cut close. Okay. There's a big phobia with clean hands and leaders about fish seeing it. I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not, but I wipe them down also before I put them in water to make sure there's no suntan lotion or anything on it where somebody can see it. So we're pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna reel it into the reel, a little snugger. That's the whole idea of the wind on, so we can reel it right, the fish right to the boat, and no one has to leader a 40-pound leader and possibly break off a fish.
Now we're gonna show you how we rig the sardine using the copper wire to sew its mouth shut.
Okay. When you're in a bite, sometimes they don't care, they eat everything. When you're not, and you really gotta work for your bites, you hide the hook. Be as gentle as you can with the fish and try not to beat it up as much as you can. Try not to get scales knocked off it. We have a bait that's really not the best, but this is the best one we could find right now to show you. Try to get something that's nice and clean, doesn't look beat up like this, isn't missing scales, because that's not what a live fish looks like. You want to get your best looking bait you possibly can. Put it inside its mouth. Here we go. Okay. Like I said, this bait is already a little beat up. Not so pretty. Put it in the gill again. Push it right inside. Okay? That damage was done already. You want to make it as clean as you can. Now, the hook itself is not going to stay like this. So what I do, cut a piece of copper. She doesn't want to go in right now.
This is where he's just sewing the mouth shut.
So I put one piece in the gill, through the mouth in the gill like this. Just keep a couple ties like that, keep it nice and tight. This way, what's in the water, it's not going to start opening up and spinning. Now, I do one in the mouth also. Okay. Got everything pretty clean. Now, that was damage we had already. I keep it inside. I like to poke the hook a little out because it just makes it a lot easier for a hook to get set in the fish's mouth. All right, you got something that's very dynamic. It's going to float in the water very nice, very smoothly, straight looking, natural. Again, try to get the cleanest looking bait you have. These baits are kind of ratty. They're just falling apart as it is right now, but that's still not bad to put in the water. And what I would do from here on, I would take out a rod.
And so when you want to get it down like 20, 30 feet and you attach a sinker, what do you normally do?
Did we get a bank sinker?
No, but you could just kind of show them. Just take out the line, figure out the depth you want your bait at.
So basically what I'll do is I'll put a bank sinker about 30 to 40 feet away from the bait. The reason for that is the further away the sinker is from the bait, the more the bait has to be able to flow up and down and look a lot more natural. I take a bank sinker with a rubber band, I tie it on there so when a fish hits, it comes off, it's out of the equation. Now we can just reel the fish back up. I never permanently put a sinker on the line because it's a disadvantage to you as well. If you have to
And
put
how
an
much
8
weight
ounce
do you
on,
use?
It depends. I want to put enough weight on so the baits get down but also get away from the boat. Sometimes you might only have to use an ounce. Sometimes you might have to use 12 ounces if you got a really fast current and you're drifting. But you want to make sure when you're putting your baits out in the water, you want to make sure they're in your chum stick. As you're throwing either chunks out or you got your chum stick going, watch how your chunks go and just make sure it goes with it. A lot of times I'll take a bait like this, throw it right in with the chunks and let it float out. A working rod will catch more fish than a dead stick every day of the week. That's it. It's just, if you're chunking, you're putting what they're looking for, everything's floating nice and easy. That bait goes out there, they see that floating with it, they start eating chunks and they start eating fish. Should you use bunker, or should you use butterfish, should you use sardines? I mix it up, everything. I seem to get more bites on sardines more than anything else. I think they're a lot more oilier than a butterfish. No, bunker is more of like an inshore trying for big bluefins, but sardines and butterfish seem to be the go-to ones.
Yeah, normally we chunk with the butterfish, and then we'll use the sardines as bait.
I'll do both. And a lot of times, instead of just putting a whole bait on, if we start getting bites or we don't get bites, I'll start putting chunks on a hook, hiding it the same way, because sometimes they want to eat a chunk. They just want to eat what they've been seeing coming past them. If you put something that looks different, they won't eat it sometimes. Sometimes you could throw a squid in the mix. They'll eat the squid. You know, it's just, you got to keep changing. If you're just going to put your rods in the water and go to sleep, you're not going to catch fish. If you're not working, you're not catching. That's the way it is.
All right. Thanks, George. Until next time.